And welcome in, everybody, once again for the Breakfast Burrito here on your sports network. DJ Yoakley, Tommy P's with you, as we are every day at 10 a.m. And we are now on our official YSN YouTube channel. So I guess that means we're official. Like, we're not Facebook official, but we're YouTube official, at least, Tommy. How we doing, man? How was your night?
Good, sir. Good morning. We're legit now, huh? YSN YouTube, Facebook, or an YSN YouTube page. So we're 100% official. It was a good night. Nothing really going on down here in East Liverpool country. Had some baseball practice last night. Little open gym, not baseball practice. I'm sorry, open gym. And
how are the Potters swinging the sticks?
We're not really getting in too much of hitting yet. We're just doing a lot of throwing. A lot of things to get hand-eye coordination back in motion, and just some repetition with throwing and catching, and a little bit of conditioning. So we're not getting the sticks out yet. The Potter Fieldhouse is still compact. It's got both sides of the bleachers are still out, so we don't have too much room in there. But we'll get there as basketball season's winding down.
Sure is, but and it kind of transitions to our opening line here. And last night, YSN breaking the news, baby. We got the scoop, courtesy of Big Country John Gabriel over in Girard. Girard standout quarterback Mark Wade has received a full scholarship offer to continue his academic and athletic career at Dartmouth. That's huge. That's huge.
That's big. That's big news. Big news.
So we got a couple quotes from Mark when he was asked about the offer. Wade, Mark obviously, said it felt incredible. It was a huge relief to finally get that first offer, and it's a culmination of all the hard work with his teammates finally paying off. He feels incredibly blessed right now and excited for the future. So for those of you who don't or not familiar with Mark Wade, he is the reigning Division IV Offensive Player of the Year, Max Prep First Team All-Ohio, First Team All-State, and Ohio Big 22 Player of the Year. And obviously we congratulate him. But, I mean, you were doing some research when this came out yesterday. And I mean, going to Dartmouth is a big deal because it's not necessarily, about his football and his athletic ability. It's more about what's upstairs.
Right. I mean, first of all, let's not discredit his athletic ability because he's got, like you said, First Team Ohio, First Team All-State, Ohio Big 22 Player of the Year. So definitely the kid is a elite talent, no doubt about that. But Dartmouth is an Ivy League school, and they do not give out athletic scholarships. So hats off to this young man for, doing top-notch work in the classroom, in his academics, and which he's a quarterback, right? Am I right? Yep, quarterback. So therefore, he's a very smart young man, and he's going to go to Dartmouth and continue his career. So that's pretty awesome, and he is smart, and he's a quarterback. So NFL could be on the horizon for this young man. You never know.
Yeah, man. The world is his oyster at this point. When the news came out, I kind of was talking things over with my wife, and she said, if he keeps on this path, there's some great things coming his way. So we're all excited for Mark. We're all excited here at YSN, all over the Valley, to hear about his next steps and to see how he, that step transpires into success, whether it's athletically or just from a just general personal level. Mark's a good kid. And John Gabriel, the voice of Girard, has nothing but great things to say about him. So we were excited to get the scoop yesterday. It was a fantastic night at YSN when we can do that and provide the news and the the highlights of what we try to do. And that's, highlight kids and tell their stories and give them every opportunity to get their stories out in these districts as well. So hats off to you, Mark. We're all proud of you here, man. So congratulations on the offer. Congratulations on the full ride. That's huge. Those don't come along every day. So Mark Wade is kicking off the Breakfast Burrito in style with that offer. So congratulations. Dartmouth got a good one. So happy for you.
Absolutely.
All right, Tommy, we talked a little bit about it. I guess, what we before the Wade news broke. We talked a little bit the past couple of days about, hot tickets in town and things. So it got us to thinking from a school standpoint, from a sports standpoint, all around the Valley and not just YSN schools. What do you think is the hottest ticket in town right now for 2018? It could be any sport, any school. I've got a couple thoughts, but I'm interested to hear yours.
Now, hottest ticket, meaning like one game or?
Yeah, one game, one season. I mean, really, it boils down. It's an open forum here. So whatever you feel hottest ticket in town means.
Well, I mean, it's Thursday and February 1st. Happy February. Is that Groundhog Day, right?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's okay.
Yep.
All right. Tomorrow's Groundhog Day. But anyway, the hottest ticket in town tonight for me down here south from you guys is East Liverpool traveling out to Beaver Local to play some hoops. Last year, Beaver Local beat East Liverpool in the Beaver Dome. So Beaver Local lost earlier in the year at the Field House by a large sum, and I think the Beavers are going to be out for revenge tonight. And the Potters seem to get back on track a little bit at Salem. Did come up short. We talked about that yesterday, but the hottest ticket in town for me is that game because it's a smaller gym. Both teams are going to fill up with student body sections. They're going to fill up with the fans, and the environment should be a good one. And for me, that's the hottest ticket in town tonight. There's no doubt about it.
And we're going to have it on YSN, so we're excited about that, talking through maybe even on Facebook. You never know. Might get be the feature game tonight. But I'm with you, man. Beaver Local and East Liverpool, always a huge, huge game. But
no matter what sport, too. You know what I mean? If they play in soccer, it's big. Football, basketball, baseball, it don't matter. It's a rivalry.
Yeah, rivalries are
they
always
share the same zip code, so. That's
it, man. That's it. And if you've never been or seen a rivalry like the Beaver Local East Liverpool rivalry, make sure you check it out tonight. I know you're going to have the call. You always make it over the top exciting. One of my favorite moments was sitting in that the field house with you and Anson and hearing you guys broadcast, because you bring so much life to it. And even when it's not a rivalry, you guys are able to bring life to it. So it's exciting for us. It's exciting for YSN. So don't miss that tonight. That is, that it really is the best ticket in town tonight. There's a couple more games that we're going to have featured: Wellsville, South Range, but above all, man, that is going to be an unbelievable matchup, and hopefully it's just a good game no matter what, no matter the outcome.
Is Wellsville playing South Range, or is that two separate games?
Two separate games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a girls' game for South Range. They're playing Crestwood. It's Pack the Gym night, so the first 200 fans in attendance will get I believe, a bright yellow shirt from South Range. I got mine upstairs, VIP level. Okay, we get ours early.
In the Thriller Dome.
In the Thriller Dome, and on the campus of South Range. That's it, man. For me, I look a little further down the path. I'm really excited about Crestview baseball. Crestview baseball obviously went to the state championship last year here in the great state of the OHIO. But this year they're under new management, from what I hear, and they're ready to go again. And I think Crestview baseball, you and I talk about it all the time. I'm just ready for baseball in softball season. It's going to be awesome to have them and be able to promote those players. It's really why we started YSN, because baseball and softball don't get the credit that it deserves. Wrestling, basketball was on a downslide, but for me, Crestview baseball is going to be exciting to watch, and it's the hottest ticket in town for me, at least at this point, because those guys, they didn't lose a whole heck of a lot. They're ready to reload rather than rebuild. And it's going to be exciting to see if they can make their way back to the championships this year, and especially not being a part of a league or a conference. Their schedule is jam-packed. I know Coach Cusick, the athletic director over at Crestview, as well as Laura Nappy, did an excellent job of filling up their schedule, setting them up for success in tournament play, as they've had to do all year long. And Crestview has answered the bell, man. So as South Range is in a similar situation, and both teams have answered the bell. But I'm excited for Crestview baseball, Crestview softball. I'm excited for South Range baseball, South Range softball. Really excited for all these teams to see what they got. And I think from what I'm hearing, there's a few teams out there that might be pleasant surprises. And from the circles that I run in, I heard a Potter baseball might be one of the surprises.
I wouldn't go too far into that, but I do think that we will be better than what maybe other people think we'll be. I'm not saying we're going to light the world on fire, but we'll win a few more games than what we're supposed to. I really, truly believe that.
And that's a good belief to have, right? If you're a coach,
good coaching, good coaching.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So that's the hottest ticket in town. I mean, really, it's a toss-up. I mean, you can look at, we don't want to look all the way down into football season. We kind of want to stay here. But I mean, you look at football season and some of these teams that we have in the Valley, I mean, we are super, super blessed to have some of these unbelievable talented teams in football, volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball. I mean, you don't have to go too far down the road. Champion is a perennial powerhouse in the sport of softball. And they're, in baseball, I think they even went pretty far last year if they didn't win the state championship. So I'll have to do a little research on that. But, I mean, we are really, really fortunate to have what we have. And, seeing guys like Mark Wade go to the next level and play at the next level, no matter what it is, D3, D2, D1, doesn't matter. You're playing. You're able to continue what you love doing. And that's what we love watching. So, again, I mean, I don't want to go back.
It's like a lottery, It's a lottery ticket for Mark Wade. It's a lot of money he saves, or his parents saved, and his hard work paid off for him. So, like you said, hats off to him. That's awesome.
Anywhere you can go and get an education and do what you love, whether it's from a major standpoint. Obviously, academics are number one, and I was the guy who went, I'm going to Ohio Northern to play baseball, but you don't go to D3 just to play a sport. You go to an academic university to learn and set yourself up for success down the road. Now, a caveman like me, it took a few years to realize that when I finally transferred to Westminster College. And you know what? I got a great education. I met my beautiful wife at Westminster, so I always tell her, and I believe that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I was obviously being a broadcast major and stuff like that, but I got a great education. It was a well-rounded education. And it was exciting. So seeing all these kids go to the next level, when in reality, college it's a tough time because everybody's strapped. Everybody's, trade schools are really popular right now because you can, not go into a ton of debt and then, go and get a job and have a great life with that. But for college, a lot of these kids, hopefully the return to college is starting to come back because the universities, we're nice because we have, Youngstown State, we have Kent State, we have all their remote campuses around us. We also have Westminster, Teal, Youngstown State, Mount Union. I mean, we are surrounded by great universities and colleges. So you don't even have to go that far to go to and I hate to say this because they were a rival at Westminster, but W&J, Washington and Jefferson, Bethany,
beautiful
down in West Virginia. Yeah, I mean, we're really fortunate, and hopefully, we can help however we can to help give these student athletes better looks and better opportunities to go to these schools, get a great education, play the sport they love, and continue down the path that they're already on. So, I mean, East Liverpool is a great school for many different sports, and you guys don't get recognized the way you should. Signings that you guys kind of go under the radar down there because there's nobody to cover it. But YSN's here to save the day.
That's right. We're gonna start. I know last year, I'm not sure about this year, but I know last year Coach Ludwig had 4 or 5 kids go on to college to play football for the on our football program. So, yeah, as that progresses throughout throughout the year and years to come, we'll definitely be on top of that. Any signing we see in the area or down here in my neck of the woods. I feel like I'm like the black sheep of YSN because, we're so far south and we are the last school you cover down this way, right? So, Wellsville. Wellsville's even further south. That's right. Yep. So there we go.
If we can get Rick Prescott to agree, we'll have Beaver Local as well. So that's the ultimate goal, is to cover all these schools. So, whether you're an alumni, whether you're a parent, grandparent who can't make the game, our job is to bring it to you and bring you closer to that school, to that district, and to your favorite athletic events, whether it be wrestling, volleyball, basketball. We're going to try to cover some swimming. We've talked about, we're in talks right now for some track events. But I mean, the big thing is that's what we do. And we try to help, shine a light on these kids in these programs so they get more opportunities to be seen, to be heard. And, maybe if we can get 1 or 2 kids to play that maybe wouldn't have played before at the next level, you never know. You roll the dice, and I mean, you might get drafted. You might more than anything.
It's all about it's all about exposure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But that leads us into our kind of regional coverage. And I don't know if you heard about this, but I was listening and trying to get as in-depth with this as I possibly could yesterday. But sources are saying that the NCAA are looking to change the transfer rules based on how coaches come and go in the program. So basically what I read was if you commit to a school and the coach changes or just it gets fired or leaves the program, you have the opportunity to leave the program as well, leave the school, and basically on the basis of you were probably promised a lot of things under that coach, and if the coach changes, the strategy could change, and you're no longer a part of the plans moving forward. One hand, to me, it's a really good opportunity for the kids because you're not keeping that, holding them hostage, and I use that word very loosely. But on the other hand, it opens up Pandora's box. What's your take?
Well, when we first knew that we were going to go over this today, I looked into it a little bit, and what I was worried about was, coaches leaving and then taking kids with them. But there is actually a loophole in this to where if the coach leaves and you want to transfer out, it can be done immediately, but you cannot follow the coach that left. You're not allowed to follow the coach that left. So I don't see a problem with it. Like you said, these kids, when they're recruited, they're promised a lot of things by, the head coach. And if he's going to leave, and you're one of his recruits, then, I feel that it's a free country. If you want to go transfer. So, but as long as, there'll be stipulations, I'm sure, outside of, not following the coach to his next spot. Because, if coach knows he's leaving, he could start, backdoor recruiting all these kids to come with him that he wants. And that would just create more drama in the NCAA, which they do not need right now. I don't have an issue with it, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, whether it's one of those things that at just the the Division I level, or if it filters all the way down to D3. I can see it getting a little sloppy the further you go down the ladder. You talk about kids that aren't getting paid to play, but are chasing championships and chasing those dreams. Those dreams are a little bit harder in the Division III level, Division II level than they are at Division I. Division I, you're still getting seen. The majority of these programs have TV deals, radio deals that, if you have a game, it's going to be broadcast all over, similar to, like a YSN. But a lot of these D3 schools don't. They have, they're not going on the road, for all 10 football or 11 football games, whatever it is, 12 football games. They're just set up with their broadcast on the home side, and they're not getting that exposure. And also, Division III, I played Division III sports. I understand that, I had no idea what to expect going in. The expectation is the same as a lot of times Division I, where you're there and the coach believes, you're there to play baseball, football, soccer, whatever sport it is, but you got to make sure that you keep it up in the classroom. And I'm not saying that D2 and D1 don't, but you don't have the ability and you don't have the right of way, so to speak, to blow off classes, especially at a smaller school, because it will catch up to you. It will catch up to you one way or the other. So, and coaches are having, 6:30 a.m. practices. You lift at 5 o'clock in the morning. You actually have practice at 6:30 a.m. And then you have another practice later in the day. They're trying to take advantage of all the opportunity, especially here at the schools and universities that don't have warm weather all the time. They have to take advantage of the best weather they possibly can. So it's going to be tricky, I think, because if you look at it, if my coach would have left, and we did. I'll tell you a story a little later in the cast. But when my coach left, that recruited me in, I was kind of stuck, right? I guess I should say recruited me in. When I looked at transferring, he was the guy that brought me in and said, "Yes, we'd love to have you be part of this program. We looked at you when you were in high school, and here's an opportunity." You get there, the coach leaves. You go down to spring training, the coach leaves, and you're stuck. So you got to make the best of it. Now, Pandora's box is open, man. if that coach leaves, I can go anywhere I want. I can go back to another school. I can move closer to home. I can move further away. I guess like you said, as long as I don't follow him, that's the protocol?
That's what they're looking at. I mean, nothing's set in place yet, but that's one of the things that they're going to tie up is, you cannot follow the coach. If he leaves, you can't follow him, but you can transfer out anywhere else. And I'm sure as they sit down and they finalize this, if it is going to go through, there'll be all kinds of little, adjustments to the policy, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, like, I think it's good for the kids, just because if something, if you're bought into that coach and, he's the one that brought you into the program and you want to take off after he takes off, and, there's no backlash for it. You can just transfer out. But trust me, later on down the road, we're going to see we'll see some drama. If this does go into effect, there'll be drama down the road with something that goes on. A big name player is going to leave, and it'll create a, some sort of mess for the NCAA. But
I think it creates a bigger mess in sports like football. The one and done rule to me is still stupid. I think it's dumb. I understand what they're trying to do, to push kids to go to school, to go to college, to give it a chance, to get a taste of it. But it hasn't acted the way that they thought it was going to act. The kids are just going there for 1 year and they're gone. I mean, it's truly a one and done rule. In schools like Kentucky, North Carolina. I mean, they get the advantage because they're perennial powerhouses. And we talked about Pitt yesterday. Since the one and done rule has gone into effect, they have been affected, right? They are probably the scapegoat for the one and done rule because they have not had their program's gone downhill. Because if you've only got 1 year to go, like you asked me yesterday, are you going to go to a Duke? You're going to go to a North Carolina? Or
you're going to go where you get the most exposure.
That's it.
That's those perennial powerhouses like Duke and North Carolina.
But if you're in school for 3 years, you're signed up for 3 years. You go your freshman year, your coach leaves. Let's say let's say you're at a Penn State or an Ohio State. Your coach leaves. Urban Meyer leaves. Oh man, imagine what would happen if Urban Meyer left Ohio State, and then all of a sudden everybody floods to where? Harbaugh is going to be there. Michigan. This is opening up to me the opportunity for super teams. And we see it in the NBA. We're seeing it in baseball now. You can't really do it in football because of the way it's set up. But, I mean, can you imagine super teams in the NCAA? And I think that's really what they're looking at on the back end of this is they say, okay, well, the teams that do well, the Alabamas of the world, are going to capitalize on this. Teams like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, they're gonna capitalize on this, and teams, really to me, it makes sense because UCF claiming national championship, this is kind of a poke at them saying, yeah, you're gonna be national champion. We'll make sure you never have an opportunity to do this again. So it'll be interesting, man. I don't want to see super teams in college sports. I don't want to. It's bad enough in basketball already with the one and dones. Your take?
Yeah, I mean, I super teams is I think it's bad for everything. And not to jump off the NCAA train, but this morning on Twitter, they're saying now that with a couple moves that the Golden State Warriors can actually open up enough cap space to sign LeBron James. I don't know if you caught that or not, but that right there is just insane. If you had Curry, Durant, LeBron, Draymond, I mean, it could be me or you as the fifth guy out there, and they're going to win an NBA title. But yeah, super teams in the NCAA, I'm not sure. It would be a lot harder to do, just because if a coach is going to leave a college, more than likely he's, they haven't won or he's retiring. If a coach is or there's a scandal, so to speak, would be another reason why a coach would leave. So, I mean, it's going to be hard for teams to load up on college talent, in my opinion. I mean, you might get one stud to go here, one stud to go there, but loading up college teams. Now, on the basketball side, it could actually, I mean, it's already going that way in NCAA. We just talked about Duke, 3 of the top 100 players, actually 3 of the top 5 of the 100 are top signees for Duke. And, so right there, you're getting super teams, but that's a direct reflection of the one and done, because these guys know, you just said it, they're going to go to Duke. They're going to get max exposure for 1 year. And guess what? They're gone to the NBA. So they're already super teams in college basketball. It's just, at the end of the day, college sports is all about recruiting. Your best coaches are your best recruiters. Your best programs have your best recruits. And if they're able to, if somebody's getting the inside scoop on coaches leaving, and these teams are able to go in and grab these players who have the opportunity to leave, yeah, it could create a better environment for the team that's going out after those kids. But it ain't going to be like the NBA. It's just not going to happen. But I wonder if there'll be stipulations in there. After I just said that, I thought about that. So say that you're the head coach of a university and you leave. All right. So now you know that all those kids are free game pretty much, right?
Right.
Are they going to have stipulations in place to where we can't go a university can't go after and recruit these kids openly? Or is it going to have to be a decision made by the student athlete in the university? So those are loopholes that, will have to be closed up, because if a coach leaves, all those players can't be free game for Urban Meyer or any other coach, and, to call in and say, hey, your coach left. Would you be interested in coming to Ohio State University or wherever? I don't think that would be an issue. That's going to create a major issue. So hopefully they're not going to be able to stop it, but hopefully they can maintain it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing comes down to, when's the last time that we didn't know a coach was getting fired before he was getting fired, or leaving the program before he left the program?
Right.
We all know that there's meetings that are had, political meetings, things of that nature, backroom meetings that happen at every level and everything, right? So
right.
if you know that a prestigious coach is going to leave the program or get fired, the kids usually know first, and there's ways to obviously protect it. But in the time that we live in, the 24/7 round-the-clock news cycle and sports cycle that we live in now, the kids are going to know. And even if they don't know, they're going to hear it on Twitter, or somebody's going to speculate it because they have all these beat reporters. And there's a microphone in your face all the time. And the coaches aren't dumb. The coaches aren't dumb at all. For years, they've worked around loopholes, and they've done everything in their power to make sure that they put their best foot forward. Now, you made the great assessment of the best coaches are the best recruiters. There's a reason for that, right? So when you look at it, they know all the loopholes. They know how to get around stuff so they don't get in trouble. Now we're seeing in our society today, sometimes you do, push the envelope a little bit too far, and you do get a slap on the wrist, or you are exposed, or you do have to pay the price a little bit. But we've still not seen that real red flag for the recruiting side of things that stops coaches from doing, sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. If you've got a blue chip athlete, and let's say you decide to leave the program or something along those lines, it's not going to stop a coach from saying, hey, just in case, or calling the player's uncle and saying, hey, if little Johnny decides that he doesn't want to play there anymore, we know the coach is going out the door. There's always going to be a spot here.
Right.
That's the stuff that's going to be interesting, because imagine with the situation at Michigan State right now. You're telling me that if this was in place right this second, that you wouldn't have all the Big Ten schools chiming in, trying to basically pick the carcass of Michigan State because nobody wants to be a part of that. It happened at Penn State. Penn State got the freedom, and I could be completely wrong, but the way I remember it from a few years back, the kids got free transfer ability to go wherever they wanted, and only a select few, if that, chose to stay at the program because it was Penn State. So, you're already seeing it. I think it was kind of a test run with Penn State to see what happened. But at the end of the day, man, it's you're going to see super teams in the NCAA, and I think I hope that they can contain it. I hope they put rules and regulations in to contain this, because if we don't, it's already ruining the NBA. You see it. And whether LeBron wants to admit it or not, The Heat were a super team. Free agency has been a big. I say problem. It's been exciting. It makes sports more exciting because you never know, but it's been a problem because for a long time this has been the opportunity that super teams can be created, and people have kind of snubbed their noses at it, saying, "Oh, no, that'll never happen. That'll never happen." And then when we put championships on such a level. We talked about LeBron chasing Jordan. We talked about Kobe chasing Jordan. When championships are put on that level that it affects your legacy as who you are, and it affects your paycheck, that's what you're looking at, man. That's what you're looking at, and you don't want to see it at the collegiate level.
I agree. We're going to disagree one day, but I agree.
One day we're going to disagree. We talked about this yesterday. You and I are just too much alike that we got to disagree on something.
We'll find something.
We could probably disagree on my hat. I know you're not a Rangers fan.
My first name's Tommy, and it's a T, so I can't really. I like it. Thanks.
Oh, jeez. See, come on, Peas. Come on, Peas. All right. Hey,
I actually like any Major League Baseball hat.
Oh, I got
to be honest with you. Yeah, I like them. I'm a flat bill guy though, so you're not. I don't think you're a flat bill guy, but I like the flat bill. I'm a fan of the flat bill.
You can pull it off. You got the perfect. Pull it off that flat bill. I can't do it. I do the backwards hat, but I try to keep it professional here on the show. And because I know there's a lot of older generation watching, and when they see somebody wearing a backwards hat, they go, well, "Look at this little punk." Now I'm little, but I'm no punk, sir. I am nobody's punk. So yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I'm excited to see how this follows out. I think there's going to be a lot of talk before this happens, hopefully, and then there's going to be a lot for us to talk about. So
it'll lead to a lot more conversations as they're preparing for it, and after the fact, it's going to lead to there'll be a lot of issues, as with there is with anything in today's world. We talked about that. There's just issues everywhere. So, but hey, it leads to good conversation. So.
It does. So that wraps up our regional look at the sports. I guess one more point. How is this going to affect regional teams? How is this going to affect the Youngstown States, the Westminsters, the Akrons, teams like that? I mean, can you see them losing kids or gaining kids because of this rules in effect?
Well, you see a lot more turnover at smaller schools. In the coaching ranks, because whether it be a Division III coach bumping up to Division II, or Division II bumping up to Division I, or a small Division I coach going up to a bigger Division I school, that's where it could create issues, because you see a lot more turnover in the smaller schools, just because coaches are looking to better their careers, or take that next step forward, just like these student athletes are looking to better themselves and take that next step forward. So I think it could hurt small schools, but who knows if they're even going to go down to that level. It could be just, Division I to start, and then maybe Division II, because there's scholarship athletes in Division II as well. But yeah, I mean, it could have a negative impact on smaller schools. I mean, how many football coaches has Youngstown State had in the past 20 years? I mean, three.
I mean, well, you got Tressel.
Yep.
You got Wolford.
Yep.
You have Bo Pelini right now. With the four because they had Haycock as well. So I mean, those are the ones that I remember. There might be one, somebody between Haycock and Tressel, but I have four coaches there. In the last 20 years, I would say. But good point. Very good point.
Thank you. You should say terrible point.
Terrible point, Peas. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. No. So I mean, but here's the other thing that I would like to talk about, and I know this wasn't on our production sheet, but Division III. I'm a former Division III athlete. Went to like I said, went to Ohio Northern, went to Westminster. The knock has always been that they don't get paid to play. You don't get paid to play sports. There's no athletic scholarships that are handed out. Do you think that's something that we'll see in our lifetime change?
I think it should change. I think it's BS. And I'm not I'm not singling them out by no means, but Mount Union College is an elite Division III football program. They've won multiple national championships. The school, the university, makes a tremendous amount of money off of that football program. And these young men who are going there on full rides are not any, less important than a guy playing Division II or Division I football. And, I know they're not filling up a place like the Shoe, where there's 100,000 people there, but at the same time, we at least can let these kids go to college for free because, they're putting their bodies on the line. They're making, the sacrifice, like you said, to get up and practice at 5 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning and then come back, go to school, and then come back in the evening and do it again. So they're sacrificing for the university. I feel as if there should be, I'm not saying every kid that plays should get a scholarship, but, your elite athletes who do go to play Division III, because, there's been multiple athletes, even at Mount Union, that have gone to play on in the NFL. So therefore, I just feel that if you're going to college to play sports and you are worthy of a scholarship, I don't understand why Division III is unable to give scholarships out. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, I know there's a lot of educational money that can roll in on top of, to take away from your tuition, but there should be some scholarships in place for Division III athletes.
I believe firmly that if the NCAA is going to put Division I, Division II, Division III under their banner, all student athletes should be treated the same way and play, cater to accordingly. So, like you said, there's no reason, or there's not a whole lot of change between what the D3 players doing and the D1 players doing. It's just a matter of how much their student loans are going to be once they graduate, if they graduate. You see a lot of these D1 players, move on. D1 student athletes, especially in the football ranks, you don't see it so much on, on the female side of things with women's sports and the NCAA, which is a good thing. I will continue to say that, I have a great advocate, and we'll probably bring him on the show, maybe even tomorrow, Anthony Hartwig, who is the voice of South Range, is a huge women's sports advocate, loves it, breathes it. And they're really setting the example for the way things should be. And the more I age, the more I grow, and the more I look at what they're doing, the more I think he's right. When you're playing Division I, it's for a paycheck. You know what I mean? You're looking to play at the next level. You're looking to play professionally. Now there's so many people that, even at the Division I level, it's still a dream. It's still an very much uphill battle to play anything professionally. And, even get on the practice squad from the NCAA to the NFL is a pipe dream. You know what I mean? So for women to be able to do that, get a great education, take their scholarship, so they don't have $500 student loans when they come out, they're doing it right. And then you have guys that on the other side that don't. They go there because they have a chance. They're told that, something, and going back to the coach leaving, if the coach leaves and you're not in the situation you want to be in, if you're able to get out of it and better yourself and put yourself in a better situation, you should be able to, because that coach is, there's no way that coach is not going to take a better opportunity somewhere else. Schools like the smaller schools like YSU, smaller schools like Akron, Kent State have been able to take advantage of second chance players, and they call them one strike players, I think,
right.
or two strike players. So the schools are getting smarter. It's more. It's always been a business, but they're learning a little bit more about the economics of it and the understanding of it. So it'll be interesting to see. Excuse me, if these small schools take a hit and kind of where it's leading us to in the future of NCAA athletics. I can't say collegiate for collegiate. Yeah, collegiate. I promise you, I was a collegiate athlete, but but I can't say collegiate. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, you follow college football, and you're a big Mount guy, and you know a lot of people that went to Mount. What's their take on should they have gotten paid? Should they have gotten paid in scholarship, obviously? But you talk about these D1 players, they're getting paid essentially. I mean, that's what a scholarship is.
Right. I mean, as far as Mount Union, and everybody I know that went there, they came out of school with about $80,000 in student loans for Mount Union. So,
Yep.
And a couple, one of my best friends has, a national title from there, and played football there for 3 years, and and did well for the university, and and he did get an education, and that's all fine and dandy, but still left him with a ton of debt. But it just got to change. It's got to change. Listen, if we can't, and this is going way off scope here, but we had the mortgage bubble pop in 2007. Remember that? And experts are saying the next big bubble to pop is the student loan bubble, because there's a massive amount of debt held on student loans, and it's sooner or later it's gonna backfire. The government gives out student loans like it's candy, and not all these people are finishing school, but yet they're still left with a mountain of debt. And as far as coming back to being a student athlete, if we can limit that to where if these young men or young women are producing for a university as far as being a student athlete, let's at least let them get their education for free, because they're giving you something. They're giving the university something as a student athlete. Let's give back to them and let them get their education for free, not necessarily pay to play, but in the long term, they're going to be paid to play, because they're not going to come out of school with a mountain of student loan debt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that guy that says that everybody should be able to go to school for free. I'm not the guy. If you're looking for somebody to pat you on the back and say we should get everything for free because we deserve it because we're Americans, and Canada gets this and Russia get this, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, because I understand that when I signed the student loan, I knew I was going to have to pay it back. I knew that when you sign up for something, you got to finish it. This isn't something. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is a huge topic right now for a lot of families, or was a huge topic for a lot of families in our country, because they think that they can just, outspend their means and just write it off. But when you sign up and you say, yes, okay, I'm going to go to college here, I want to pay this much, that's fine and dandy. That becomes your responsibility. Here's where I have the issue with colleges, with universities. The inflation, I understand. The inflation cost goes up on everything. It's like $3.70 for milk now, right? But
unless you shop at Aldi's, then it's $1.49 or something crazy.
You got it, man. Aldi's #1. We love Aldi's. So, but the point is, how is our parents' education costing them $12,000 a year, and my education that I graduated in 2007 from Westminster College costs $38,000 a year, and now these kids going to college now, it costs them $47,000 a year. And I'm saying this isn't Westminster. This is just a general. Here's how much it costs on average.
Right.
How much inflation is in there, and how much just, hey, if they want to come here, they're going to have to pay this amount. I don't think the education overall has changed that much, or I don't think that I got a better education than my parents did, or that little Jimmy, who's going to go to the university, is going to get a better education than I did, because he's going to pay an extra $10,000 to go there per year. So I'm trying to understand that. Maybe you can bring that to me. This might be where our lines cross, but I'm trying to understand how schools and universities are getting away with jacking up the price of education without anything changing.
Yeah, it definitely has to be some sort of regulation put into effect. And that I don't want to sound liberal here, but at the same time, you know, it's we have to make, you know, a college education affordable, and $40,000 a year to get, you know, a college education, which, you know, 90% of the jobs that you're going to get when you come out of college are going to be, you know, you're not going to make that. You're not going to make what you just spent in 1 year, you know, at college. So it's, you know, a lot of states though, like, you know, West Virginia, you can go to WVU if you're a resident and a good student in high school. You go to WVU for free. I know the state of Florida, if you have over a 3.0 GPA coming out of high school, you can go to college for free at a state university. So there are states that are, you know, implementing these things, and those are non-scholarship athletes. Those are, you know, they're not have to be an athlete to get that deal. It's just, you know, standard, you know, if you, hey, you were a good high school student, you got a 3.0, you want to go to the state college, here you go. Here's free, you know, free tuition basically. Now outside of room and board and feeding, but at least the academic side of it is it's free. And I don't disagree with that. If you know, we teach these kids to, you know, education first, work hard, get good grades, and maybe we should put something in, you know, nationally here that if you do go to high school and you're doing a good job and you're getting good grades and you graduate good and you don't get in trouble, hey, guess what? You get to go to college for free, because we spend a lot of money in this country on handouts, some good, some bad. But if we want to set our future youth or our future adults, I mean, up for success, you know, let's at least give them the opportunity. Now, there's going to be kids that are going to take advantage of that opportunity and not do well. But at the same time, there's going to be a mass amount of athletes or student athletes that can go there and, you know, perform and get a free education. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all.
I guess my only question to you is, what's the real estate market like in West Virginia that we can set up and our kids could go to school for free?
It's not bad. It's not bad. We're just a hop, skip, and a jump from Chester, West Virginia, over here, home of the Oak Glen Bears.
You're about a 9-iron away from West Virginia, so I mean that's looking at you, it might be.
Trust me, I'm holding my breath here, hoping that both my kids are smart enough or athletic enough to cut me and my wife a break here, because by the time my son's 11, so when he's 7 years from now, it's probably gonna be about $100,000 a year to go to college. So,
well, I mean, if it runs in the family, you guys will be just fine. But always make sure that you maybe get a rental property down in West Virginia or something, or a flip house that you can claim residency, because that wouldn't be a bad gig either. But I'm in agreement with you. That's the first time I've heard of that. You know, in Florida and West Virginia, that'd be a cool thing. And I think that, I mean, there has to be incentives, and that's what, I mean, you go all the way back in, and I don't want to get biblical here, but you go back into the Bible and everything, there's incentives for everything. And the incentive for hard work should be a payoff. And right. If you work hard in school, you work hard on the field, on the basketball court, wherever you work, there should be a payoff for that. And you're not always going to win, but if you can get a couple $1,000s here, you know, or get a free education and set yourself up for life. I think that's the incentive for working hard in high school. If I would have known what I know now, probably would have listened to teachers before 7th grade and worked a little harder in math and in science and social studies. But you know what? It is what it is, right? That's what life is. So put a wrap on the regional burrito there. Dude, I think this is where we're going to have, and I really believe this is where we're going to have our crossing moment. The national headlines are today on ESPN. They are reporting that Floyd Money Mayweather is going to step into the octagon. Now, nothing has been finalized. There's no even indication that who he's going to face. But you got to think, and we talked a little bit about this before we went on the air today, Tommy, if he steps in the ring with I'm losing his name. What's with the Irish?
McGregor.
Yeah. Thank you. If he steps in the ring with McGregor, oh man. I realize that they fought at the same weight for boxing, but my my spidey senses are tingling, saying he might not make it out of that octagon alive.
Yeah, that would. I know you. We talked about if we'd pay to watch that. If Conor McGregor was able to get Floyd Mayweather inside the octagon in a sanctioned Ultimate Fighting match, it would bring joy to me. As much as I love Floyd Mayweather for the superior boxing skills that he has. He has. He might not have the knockout power that a lot of boxing fans want to see, but as pound for pound, like total boxing skills, and it being great in the ring, there's nobody ever better than Floyd Mayweather. It's impossible to hit the guy. Now, when you're able to take him down by his legs and throw him to the ground inside the octagon, that's going to create a lot of problems for Floyd Mayweather, and probably some problems that he's not wanting to get involved in. What surprised me is he actually tweeted and did a video that 2018 Floyd Mayweather, he said if 2018 Floyd Mayweather octagon. I mean, I think it's going to happen. I truly, truly believe it's going to happen. And
oh my
people
God.
are going to, excuse my language, but people are going to want to turn in to watch him get his ass kicked. I promise you that.
I'm with you. I'm with you, and I'm not. I'm with you that everybody wants to see him get his ass kicked. I'm not with you in the sense that I would never pay to see it. Now, if one of my friends decides to have it at his house, or we go to an establishment, then yes, I'll definitely not turn away, because I definitely want to see it. But this ticket is going to come with a hefty price tag. The last one I think was $100 for the boxing match, and it was deemed the match that was going to revive boxing. We've had our share of really successful and really talented boxers here in the Valley, here in the great state of Ohio, but Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor did not revive boxing one iota. I haven't watched a boxing match since that fight.
Exactly. Me neither.
Unless Kelly Pavlik gets back in the ring, which man, that'd be great to see, but I doubt it happens. I'm not going to watch boxing. I mean, it's kind of like it's much like golf in that regard, but it's even a step lower to me personally. It just doesn't do anything for me. I mean, a bunch of guys knocking each other's lights out, with gloves on. I get it. It hurts. I would never do it, but UFC has that real feel to it that anything's possible on any given night, because you can win it with your submissions. You can win it with TKO, KO. I mean, there's so many different ways. Boxing, it's scored so weird. It's one of those things where when you look at it, it's even that McGregor Mayweather fight, I'm still confused as to how the heck he had so many rounds go his way, because it seemed like McGregor had control that entire time until the 12th round or whatever. So I'm not buying it. I'm sure as heck not buying it. And if my wife is listening, yes, I'm not buying this. It was not going to cost you $100. So congratulations on turning me into that guy. But yeah, I don't think this saves. It doesn't do anything for UFC.
Did you buy the boxing match? Did you buy the boxing match?
I watched it. I cannot say that it showed up on my cable bill, but
you watched it, okay? Yeah. So you would watch the UFC fight then? You would watch it. You would not watch it. I don't care what you say. If it's Saturday night and you know that Conor McGregor and Mayweather are going in the UFC ring, you are not watching. You are not watching it. You are going to find somewhere to watch it. I don't care what you say.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't. The nice thing about being a sports business owner is that I can write that off if I really wanted to. But at the end of the day, I don't want to contribute to this garbage. I don't, because it's stupid. Because
it's entertainment, man. It's entertainment.
It is entertainment. But I pay $9.99 a month now for my entertainment on the WWE network. Plug Vince, if you're watching. Haven't canceled once. So it's one of those things where I want to watch it. I want to watch it, but I don't want to contribute to this garbage. And And I think everybody knew, if you're a sports fan, if you're a marketing person, if you're a business person, you knew this day was going to come where, it was just enough time to forget about the hype that was the boxing match. And now Floyd's going to go. I mean, the deal, you think, Tommy, it had to be cut early on, or else McGregor's not going in there. Now, he was made a very rich man from that boxing match, but you got to think that, okay, we're going to do one in the boxing ring, we'll do one in the MMA octagon, and then we'll see how the chips fall. And I think that what it boils down to is what we're going to see is, guess what? A third version of this, some ridiculous, like XFL style somehow. I mean, what are they all? They're going to go to the WWE now after this, and they're going to. I mean, it's just all about money, and I don't care to see it, and I don't.
It's always about money. It's always about money. Listen, these guys put on the greatest show ever, because leading up to their boxing match, it was, you on the surface, you'd have thought they hated each other. But I'm telling you right now,
they're in the same plane.
Guys, they're friends. They're friends, man.
They're
friends.
Absolutely. But that's the thing. That is what's so beautiful. I don't know. And again, I know, trust me, for you out there watching me, I know somebody's judging me right now because I watch wrestling, professional wrestling. I will tell you this. I watch it for the entertainment value. I realize that it is choreographed, but it is no different at all than what those two did this past summer, because they put on that, like you said, they put on the show. But then they said, "Oh, I hate you. You're garbage. You're trash. You're this. You're that. You're a rat, right, or a weasel, or whatever McGregor said." And then they go on the same exact flight to their next location and talk about their shoots against each other. They put on what the WWE has done for 40 some years, right? It's just an entertainment value thing. They sold as many pay-per-views as they needed to sell to make sure they line their wallets. And that's what frustrates me, man, because I know
it worked, and it worked.
Well, here's the thing, and you can disagree with me with this, because I'm not going to be one of those guys that says it's rigged. But listen, when I turn on WWE, I realize that the end of the match, a winner is declared before that match, the bell even rings. What's worrying me is a winner declared before the bell even rings with these two. And that's what bothers me, and that's why I will not pay $100, and I'm really hesitant to watch it.
Yeah, well, I agree with what you say, but I'm going to watch it. So if it happens, I'm watching it.
You're a goof.
I got to watch it. Watch it. I mean,
well, I guess that leads us to our next and final topic here. We got about 3 minutes to go. Are people going to watch? Are people going to watch? If you're watching and I'm not watching, how many people are like you, and how many people are on my side of the line and said, you know what, I'll just I'll watch it on ESPN, 3 minutes after it happens. I'll watch it on Twitter, 3 minutes after it happens. You get round by round on Twitter now, essentially what happens without having to pay the $100. Are sports on television on the decline, or is this just a phase?
Well, sports on the TV, the tube that's in your room is that's declining. I mean, I watch a lot of TV on my phone. I'm a DirecTV Now guy. I got, DirecTV Now on my phone. I watch the State of the Union on my phone. I watch YouTube videos. A lot of people, listen to YSN Live on their phone. It's just, it's the technology drive that we have, and how many different ways there is to watch entertainment in today's world is just it's declining the actual TV. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I watched a commercial. I don't understand why these companies pay millions of dollars for commercials.
Don't you say that?
on TV. Well,
let me ask you this.
Of course.
Let's re kind of shift the question.
Okay.
Are less people watching sports in general on any technology, just from a visual standpoint? Is our country, is the world getting their information differently and not relying on television and kind of the visual so much. I don't even know how to phrase this question.
You're right.
Are less people watching the game live, or are more people starting to see it's trending on Twitter and just kind of get their updates through there, or waiting until it's over so they don't have to pay, or those crazy people who find it on the internet for free? Are less people kind of catering to the subscription plans and what I guess the major networks are trying to get you to do, and that's watch?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it comes down to time. I mean, honestly, today's world is crazy. It's such a fast-paced, busy world. You say it all the time on here. You're balls to the wall 24/7 all day long. You know what I mean? Imagine, families with multiple children involved in multiple events or multiple sports, or life is just so busy, and there's so much stuff to do in today's world. When you wake up during the day, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get everything done that I need to get done? It's just not enough time, to sit in front of the television and follow sports or follow what's going on. And that's why what we're doing, I think, is awesome, because, it's at your fingertips on your cellular device. We're giving people, information that, that they can have at their fingertips. And that's what people want. I mean, we're a want it now society. We want the information now. We want to buy this now. We want that now. And, the phones that we have today have given us that. And I think it's just, it's convenience, having that at your fingertips and the information at your fingertips. And that's why you're seeing a decline in TV ratings. I mean, it's like 4 years straight now, sports on television ratings have declined. I mean, it's a trend, and it has to do with, it has to do with your phones and your pads and in technology and the busy lives that people lead. I mean, it's the future.
I'm with you, baby.
It's the future.
It's the future. Number one, I wanted to obviously thank you. It was a great show today, man. Great show. A lot of battles back and forth. Love it. Love hearing your side of things. We're going to try to get a special guest tomorrow. See if Anthony will come in and talk a little bit about the state of girls and women's sports in our society. We had a great discussion about the state of where people watch and kind of download their sports information. And I'm with you, man. We love doing it. We see the writing on the wall. We see the opportunity. That's why YSN exists. I talk to every single, athletic director, superintendent, everybody that does, partners with YSN. I tell them that this tool right here is the most powerful tool in the entire world right now. And because that's where people get their information. They're, like you said, you're not sitting there watching TV anymore. Barely are you at your desktop. Barely are you at your laptop, unless you have to be in front of it for work or for some reason like that. A lot of the information that we get as a society comes through the phone and comes through kind of, streaming of that sort. So, which brings me to my last question. Do you have maybe $2.5–3 million that I can borrow for a Super Bowl commercial for YSN?
Oh yeah. Just stop by today. I got it. Okay, for sure.
Okay,
come
cool.
on in.
I'll be down there.
Yeah.
I'll be down there. That wraps it up, buddy.
I'll fight you for it. Conor McGregor. Come on, let's go.
Now, a boxing match or UFC or WWE?
It'd have to be choreographed, so we'll have to go WWE.
Sounds good, man. Hey, appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see everybody tomorrow here on the Breakfast Burrito. We thank you for joining us. Check out our new YouTube channel, YSN, courtesy of Rocky Brown. Thank you so much for joining us. For Mr. Tommy Pease, I am DJ Yoakley. It's a day. Make it a great one, everybody. So long.
Later, folks.
Clear.